I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go on.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Just knock it off, you scum fuckhead.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to make
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, please with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And you go stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to make
Feel like shit. My suggestion is distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the farms.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll start playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I got a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 60 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How's everyone doing this fine Thursday evening? Thanks ever so much for tuning into tonight's episode. Hopefully, it will be. I don't know if it'll be a great episode because I only have like maybe one topic, and maybe I can talk about something else that ties into it as well. But let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now, and then we'll definitely see if we can get started on that. But firstly, I hope everyone has enjoyed my appearance on, well, not just my appearance, but the PA Talk episode 20, the Burns Night episode that was this past Tuesday. It was myself, Cyborg, and Mean Peen, and then later on, Roscoe showed up on the stream. Roscoe is not like a public figure or anything like that at all, but it was nice having them on the show nonetheless. I think looking back on that episode, I think maybe for me, I was a bit tired that night, which is why I didn't really talk this much. But other than that, it was still a really decent episode anyway with that. So really good stuff. So hopefully you've all enjoyed that appearance for this past Tuesday. And then, I don't know, maybe someday I'll probably appear on someone else's show. I don't know. They'll just need to ask me first, and then we'll see from there. Another bit of an update with that. This coming Sunday, which will be the 30th, I believe it is. Sunday the 30th, yeah, perfect. So Sunday the 30th, I'll have a guest on, and of course, it's none other than Joe. Joe Marsh, who have had on the show like 3 times now, and if he comes on Sunday's episode, it will be the 4th time he's been on. I think I should maybe get this out of the way first of all, because I know there's been a lot of people, including Sam, might have mentioned this on Tea Time with Sam and Laura. He's not my co-host. Although, to be fair, I don't know if he's maybe watching this just now, but I was thinking about asking him if he wanted to be my co-host, because I think after his second appearance and seeing the chat coming through, like people just absolutely just love having him on the show because of the way he speaks and what he talks about, how he doesn't hold back and anything like that at all. I kind of thought, well, the whole point of Mood of the Nation is get people on, especially for myself, and even people in the chat talked about what's their mood of what's the current mood of the nation, what they think is the mood of the nation. And I think someone like Joe would have been a perfect fit for that, especially for being as a co-host. But I think I don't think it was me he said it to, but I think he said something like it might have been on one of the shows, but he basically said that he's too busy at the moment, where to the point where he had to step down as a regional organizer for PA Wales. That's how busy he is. Which I mean is completely fair enough, and it would have been great to have him as a co-host, but again, in the future, of course, even as I said for this coming Sunday, he'll definitely be back on as a guest on the show. So let's see what him and I will be talking about this coming Sunday. And then in terms of other guests, trying to think who else I should have on at some point. Maybe someone you would not really maybe expect, kind of a thing, because I can't remember what episodes of. So I've had Sam and Laura on, I've had Scott's Armor on, I've had Urba Derber on, I've had PA Young Scots on the show, I've had Joe on, I've had some of the guys from PA Wales like Bill and Ross. Is that it? I think that's about it in terms of guests at the moment. Which I mean, it's not too bad in terms of that. I'd guess me Indigenous Advocate. Oh, that's good. Excellent stuff. Yeah, we'll see if we can maybe sort something up with that. No Streaky Bacon, it would not be Stormzy. It would definitely not be Stormzy. I think someone maybe you'd least expect to be on the show kind of thing. Because as much as I love having guests on, most of the people I usually bring on are for people from PA kind of thing. And maybe next time I should maybe ask Ochai if he wants to come on the stream and maybe talk. I don't know, maybe because he's like a Japanese nationalist, and that might be interesting to see with that. But who knows? Maybe someone else. I don't know. I'll see if I can figure something out, and then I'll just get started with that. So anyway, let me just have a look and see who else is in the chat, and then we'll see. What about John Davidson from Exile Viking? That's a good point. Yeah, I can also have him on because after all, he did brought me on his show at one point. And I think there was another time he did ask me if I wanted to come on again, but the problem was I couldn't make it on because of there was stuff that was going on at that time when I was like working at my family member or family relatives like workplace at the time, but I couldn't come on because of that. So maybe I'll definitely see if I can ask him if he wants to come on at some point. So and then see from there. So Horse, just real quick. We need to have a 30-minute silence to mark the anniversary of only event in history we're not allowed to investigate or question. Right. I see. Well, maybe not a 30-minute silence, but yeah. Anyway, so let me see. Gamma Sandwich real quick. Has anybody else seen the clip of people fighting over jabs in the US on Telegram? Incredible scenes. I have not. And then you added on to that by saying it's on the Dissident Priest channel. Again, I have not seen that. That might be interesting. Now, I wonder if I can maybe also play this. Follow me on other platforms. I've been meaning to actually get this up at some point. My Twitter, Telegram, Instagram, and BitChute. Maybe I should add like Odyssey on there. I'll do that at some point later on. Anyway, who else is here? Horse is on the show tonight. Well, the showcase is comment before. Budgie Burger. I want blood clots, bowel palsy, and cancer first. So get behind me and push. Fair enough. We also have English Rose again. How you doing, English Rose? Thanks very much for watching the show. Amanda Lee, how you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Evola Sunglasses, thanks very much for watching the show as per usual. Streaky Bacon, inshallah. Inshallah, Streaky Bacon, how you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Canny Hinney, how you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show as per usual. We also have Ugly Truth, how you doing? Rory Herbert, as per usual. Good evening, folks. Hail to the chief. Well, thanks very much to for that, Rory. Appreciate that. Speaking of PA Young Scots, we have fucking button. We have Kerr in the chat as well. Hello, Kerr. Thanks very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Think we also have Peter Walker. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. did mention Indigenous Advocate before, which of course I appreciate him being here. Tolo Soprano, how you doing? Thanks very much. Speaking of Bill, he's in the chat just now as well. Thanks very much for watching the show, Bill. Appreciate that. I mentioned Exile Viking. That's good. Kitchen Skillet, how you doing? Chief Moody, this is from Tolo Soprano. I got the Blue Yeti Snowball. I'm working on my own shows now. Oh, that's good. Excellent. Do you have maybe like a YouTube channel or Odyssey page or anything like that at all, Tola? Or Tola Soprano? If you do, I'll see if I can. Just feel free to post that in the chat, and then people definitely will feel free to give him a sub, if you will, and then support him all the way with that. So that's good stuff. Good to hear that, Tola Soprano. Oh, yeah. Been pissing myself laughing all day, reading the comments in that Israel Advocate video call it posted. Yeah, I did see all the comments. I mean, that completely backfired on that douchebag. And I love how they try to make when it came to the whole Barclay situation and when that whole thing happened. I love how the guy tried to make it out as if like he was being groomed from like all kinds of members of PA, and it's just the audacity from that ginger prick. It's unfucking believable. Unbelievable. Which is funny because I remember with that debate between himself, all of his other Jewy friends, and of course Mark was there engaged in the debate. And I remember how that same motherfucker in that video talking about, Mark, you got nobody, you got no support and all of that. You know, who's going to take all of you FNAT seriously? Who's going to actually support Patriotic Alternative and blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know if they were around then. What PA wasn't around back then. But you get what I mean. And now here he is, like, in January of 2022, he's posted a video basically shitting all over PA. And I think there's another ethno-nationalist group in America, I think, which is like, okay, like people are going to look at this and may support it, no matter what. So, have it what you will. So, hello, Aunt Sally. Thanks very much for watching the show as usual. Appreciate you being here. From Kier. Cheers for sharing the new episode. By the way, Chief, no worries. You're very welcome with that. I thought I would feel the need to share it because obviously I want your stuff to be out there and people to watch it. So even for the episode just now, let me just quickly get on to Odyssey. But speaking of Odyssey, that's something I also need to check on as well. Something also partly what I want to talk about. It's P Scotland's page. Where is it? Maybe here. Okay, not looking for that, but no sigh. Let's see. Yeah, so here it is. PA Young Scots episode number 8. This just came out today. How many views? 32 views with 2 likes. Fuck off. That deserves more. Hold on. Let me just quickly post that in the chat, and please, everyone, don't feel free to you can watch it if you want and then come back if you want to with that, but there's the link for the PA Young Scots episode 8 if you want to check that out, whether it be right now or maybe later on. What I would recommend is please give it a like and maybe watch it later on if you want to, and also please sub to the channel again, just so that you can help support not just PA Young Scots, but the Odyssey page for PA Scotland as a whole. Abby Wood, or the Anglo-Saxon teacher. Hello, Chief M and everyone. Hope you're well. Same to yourself, Abby. Thanks very much for watching the show as per usual. Appreciate you being here. Picking Gaz 1972. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Baz Klutwidge. Hope I pronounced that right. Good evening, Gamma Sandwich. Can imagine, Chris. Baz, thanks very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. I think you're new, so if you're new to the channel, please feel free to like the show, subscribe to the show for more episodes, of course, and appreciate you being here as per usual. Thank you. I think that is me up to date with the chat just now. Like, definitely, Gamma Sandwich, and there's a message from Streaky Bacon. Chief, really, you should get one of the ladies in chat to guess at least they talk all night. Yeah, I definitely should. I definitely should with that. So, but again, I'll have a look and see who else I should have on. I know Joe's going to be back on the show this coming Sunday, but I'll definitely see who else I have on. In fact, maybe Streaky Bacon. That may be a good shout because I think, like I said, the only women or like female content creator or guest I've had on the show was really Laura, and that's pretty much it. But I need to ask Jodie to come on the show at some point. But the problem is I don't know whether or not she'll be too busy with with her work and all of that. But I know she might stream from time to time on every Tuesday before PA Talk. But even still, but I'll see if I can ask her. Maybe I should write down on my notepad on specific dates that are booked and not booked yet and all of that. So, but yeah. I'll definitely have a watch and see with that, and we'll definitely see with that. So, cheers for sharing the new episode, by the way, Chief. Oh, read that out already. That's fine. But again, you're very welcome, Kier. Woodlander, even to you too. Just eating my tea. Excuse me for not typing. That's no worries. You enjoy your evening meal. Let me see here. Miss Tuesday, how you doing? Thanks very much. Good evening, young man. Oh, thanks very much, Miss Tuesday. Appreciate you being here. Let me see. I enjoyed the Robbie Burns stream the other night. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I think it was Spiffy Acorn might have mentioned something in the chat. I don't know if he did, but for me, it's like I kind of looking back on it, I did felt or wish that maybe I could may have like maybe talked a bit more. But like I said earlier on, I was definitely feeling a little bit tired that night, especially after work. But hey, maybe next time I'll definitely see if I can have them on the show, especially Mean Peen. I don't know if he's going to be now doing content creating. Well, I wouldn't say content creating, but I think he's going to be like another co-host for PA Talk. But we'll see. We'll see. English Rose real quick. Jodie, Aunt Sally, Abby, all would be great guests, I think. Yeah, I agree. I'll definitely see if I can ask them at some point. Like I said, if we'll book something, I'll write down my notepad. Any changes or anything like that at all in the next coming days, again, we'll just see from there for that. So, Gizzy Stripe, how you doing? You need to get Katie Fanning on. She's also known as Katie Paris and Bubba Kate. Very interesting lady. I see. All right. Don't know if I might have heard of that person before, but I'll definitely have a check on that and then see from there. Actually, to have my notepad, hold on. Let me just quickly get a pen and my notepad as well, just so I can write some of these names down. If you guys will, of course, you can still hear me, but if you excuse me just for a brief minute, I'm gonna get that out just now, and then see from there. Right. Is there? Oh, damn! Where did I put the pen? I had a pen here. Should be just. Oh, there it is. Cool. Right. Okay. Let me write down some names. And then Katie was at the last PA I met her. Okay. All right. Right. I don't know if that might ring a bell because again, there's like so many people there. But like I said, I'll do some investigate. Well, I quote unquote investigation, and I'll definitely see with that. So, let me see here. So the name was. Oops. Oh, there it is. Katie Parrott was on with Cyborg before Christmas. From this, I think it was the second episode of PA Talk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she was on. She was talking about her case with the university, if I'm not mistaken. Right, that rings a bell. I see. Okay, maybe I don't know, but we'll definitely see with that. So, if I speak of which, I think I did briefly talk to her on. Or, well, not on, but at the last PA conference. But then again, I don't think she would know who I was because for me, when I was at the conference, I wasn't the type of guy who was just randomly go up to people. Hello, I'm such and such. Hope you've watched my content. Okay, bye. You know, just move on to the next group of people with that. So, but we'll see with that. And Sally, I helped Katie sew up her split skirt at the last PA conference. She has a great character. Okay, fair enough. Katie is clever, impressive, and is doing great work putting the units to the sword over CRT. Excellent. Kingdom of Villain, how you doing? No worries at all. I mean, it's not. I've not really started my main topic anyway. So you're pretty much on time anyway with that. So, is Katie Paris the legal expert studying law? I believe so. She did talk about what she was studying at that university. So I think it might be to do with that. So, Charlie Big Potatoes is streamed with Katie too. I think it was on that same episode, the second episode of PA Talk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so anyway. But again, I'll see. We'll definitely shall see with that, and then I'll get back to you guys on that. So, but we shall see. Right then. Oh, one last thing before I get into the into the actual topic itself. I'll see if I can get this up on the screen here just now. If you guys would like to support me financially or anything like that at all, you can do so by sending in a donation. Either it could be like privated or anything like that at all, of course. Either on Ko-fi or even as a super chat if you guys want to. And again, when I do this, please don't feel obligated as if because you watch my content, it's like you're obligated to send me like donations or all of that. It's entirely up to yourself if you want to do that. If you would like to send me donations because you support my work and all of that, that would be awesome and very kind of you. If you don't want to do that and continue on supporting my work without sending any donations, again, that's also fine with that. All I'm saying with that is the option is there. And if you want to do that, great, awesome. If not, again, that's also awesome with that. So, so the link is there from a Ko-fi page if you would like to donate throughout the entire show. Well, it doesn't have to be live on the show. It could be at any time of the day with that. So, but it's there anyway. So, I saw that stream. I think she was very impressive. Yeah, but I did enjoy that episode as well. For me, I was more of a fan of when it comes to PA Talk. I think it was the 4th episode when they had what's his name, Blair Cottrell, I think is how you pronounce his last name. The Aussie dude, the big, like very like well fit gentleman. He actually might be a good guest to bring on the show, but then again, obviously he's from Australia, and I believe there's like a huge time difference between here in the UK and also over in Aussie land, if you will. So, but again, that might be a good idea. So we'll see. We definitely shall see. Right then, so let's get right into the main topic itself. Now, I think I do have only one topic to discuss. It's kind of like how I would describe it, like an overall type of topic. Now, this is something I did touched upon one episode. I can't remember when exactly, but it was something that I briefly talked about. So, Spiffy Acorn, sorry, this came to my attention, this question. Any advice for which areas to avoid buying plots of land? And that part, I couldn't tell you, Spiffy Acorn. I'm not really the best person to talk to someone about that. I don't know if you would mind. I would imagine someone like Woodlander might help you out with that, especially if he's living off the grid. But maybe you could possibly speak to someone about, or someone in the chat might help you out with that, Spiffy, because I'm no expert on that whatsoever. So, let me see here. Blair would be a good guest, clever bloke. Yeah, he definitely is a clever guy, especially what I've seen on PA Talk. Right then, sorry, I'll just get right into the topic itself. So, is there something I talked about quite a while ago on Mood of the Nation? Hello, Roscoe. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. The topic itself. I'll just get right into that. Is all to do with Patriot Front. Now, I know this is something that I talked about before, and I know there was a little bit of controversy that came out recently in terms of a leaked video. Some people would call it "quote unquote" leaked, but I do believe it was entirely a leaked video. I honestly think that there was a case of like maybe they had some form of like an infiltrator into Patriot Front, but But that's what I think with that. I know people, especially all of these like Sithnat types, who would come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, look, see, this is clearly a honeypot for the Feds. See, this is clearly a honeypot for the FBI and the CIA and all of that." And it's like, mate, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, honestly, why are you even here to begin with? Nobody takes you lot seriously anymore. Sorry, like these people, I know that's a meme at this point. These people, I'll just say this first of all, folks, when it comes to Sithnats, right? This is something that I've been thinking about quite a while, actually. And actually, it's something that definitely does fucking bother me. The Patriot Front of Judea. I don't know if it be that, but let's see. But these civic nationalists, these conservative ink types, these your Daily Wires, your like Ben Shapiro's, your Jordan B. Peterson's, your Sargon of Akkad's, and all of that. I mean, I know it may be seen like a cliche at this point, but I can't fucking stand them. They're honestly the bane of my existence at this point. Just real quick from Gizzy Stripe. How about Vinnie Sullivan and Alexander Sandmore? Great characters, even though they aren't really PA types. I'm not too sure. Maybe. It's definitely like the door is open for that. But again, we will definitely shall see when it comes to that. So, we shall see. So, anyway, sorry, I'm just going back onto what I was saying. So, of course, when it comes to Patriot Front, so I'll just give you guys a little bit of a backstory of what's been going on. So, as we all know, and that's something that I talked about on the show before, Patriot Front went to, I think it was the Washington, it wasn't the Washington Monument, but it was like, it was, bollocks, so I should have maybe reminded myself of this, but it was basically like the capital, I believe it was, and they were just doing like a regular march and all of that, and when they did that, of course, they got their vans and they decided to get back home. Now, because of that happened, there was a bit of a ruckus from, of course, the fence-sitting side of the whole political spectrum, if you want to call it that. People were just coming out of the woodwork saying, like very quickly to say, by the way, of making out that PF or Patriot Front were this Fed group, and like, oh, they don't seem like genuine nationalists and all of that. Because I mean, like, oh, why is it that they're hiding their faces and all of that? Like, are they like cowards and such and such? And it's the same fucking song and dance you hear what the leftists tend to do when it comes to conservative or right wing people. It's the same song and dance, and at this point, I'm just really tired of it. I'm sick and tired of all of these groups of people. Whenever a group like Patriot Front or even National Justice Party, I don't know if there was maybe word of people from that side talk about National Justice Party, but all sorry, excuse me, all the stuff you hear from about those groups, especially groups like ours, like PA, and they always talk about, but they always seem to contradict themselves. Firstly, they always seem to say, like, oh, they seem pretty dangerous and blah blah blah, but we shouldn't really take them too seriously because no one's going to support them anyway. It's like, well, what is it exactly? Are we a dangerous group or are we not? What exactly is the problem here? So a lot of people were just coming out of the woodwork. People, including big names like Count Dankula, Surgeon of Smirt, Lauren Southern, which that would be something I definitely want to cover just rather briefly at the moment when it comes to that. Who else? Joe Rogan. All these other people. Good evening to a European housewife. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. All these same exact group of people coming out of the woodwork, instantly calling Patriot Front a Fed group. It's so fucking ridiculous, and it's so transparent of what exactly they're trying to do here. They'll try and make it out as if like they seem like a front, like for true proper nationalists, and it's like, mate, you're not even proper nationalists. You're basically a bunch of LARPing douchebags who claim to be for stuff like free speech and all of that. But then when push comes to shove, when the shit hits the fan, you then run away from it. You act like complete, utter fucking cowards and never bother actually standing by your own fucking principles. Sorry, I know there may be some people in the chat who really will not appreciate the swearing, but I do apologize. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating just seeing just all these other people just like coming out of the woodwork and just time after time after time of just shitting all over these groups. And it's hold on 1 second. This is a good point from Kerr. Always remember, Sargon helped Kraut and T dox real nationalists. Also, Lauren Southern directly worked with the feds and hope not hate. Oh, don't worry, Kerr. I'll definitely get to that because I think she recently came out with a video. I think it was called "The History of Psyops." This was meant to be also a bit of a response to that video leaked online of Patriot Front. I'm sure you all know exactly what I'm on about. It's basically a bunch of guys. A bunch of guys from PF or Patriot Front doing like the final video. I think it's towards the end of the video, and of course he the all like life, liberty, justice. I think it was, and I think the video came to an end, and they were filmed after that. So, but I do think, again, this is just a theory. I don't know if this may be correct or not, but I also do think maybe they were infiltrated by someone pretending to be a supporter of PF, but then are only in the group for nefarious purposes. So I don't know, maybe. I like Chief Potty Mouth. Thanks, Aunt Sally. Appreciate that. Tell it, brother. Well, no worries, ugly truth. But yeah, it's just hold on 1 second. Spiffy Acorn, Chief Moody, more like Chief Angry, laying the smackdown on those who deserve it. Well, it's frustrating. Here you have a group like Patriot Front that actually wants to do something about America, especially with all the stuff that's going. Actually, no, sorry. Before I get into that, here's my biggest gripe I have with all these groups of people, these civ-nats, again, these conservatives, whatever you want, whatever terminology you want to give them. They're this. I've mentioned this before, and I know people have heard this already. This may be a cliche now, but it is absolutely true in saying this. These people, these Civ Sargon types, if you will, almost every single one of them are the same types of people who will spout the problems going on, like, oh, this is all cringy and gay, critical race theory, these SJWs and blah blah blah. It needs to be stopped and all of that. It's like, okay, so then what's your solution to the problem? And then, of course, they just kind of dance around it. They're like, well, I think we should probably maybe make fun of them and just showcase that, hey, people, we shouldn't really take this stuff that too seriously. It's like, okay, let me stop you right there, mate. This whole fucking shit has been going on since 2013, maybe 2012, maybe 2011, maybe 2010, somewhere around then. Like, it's been about almost 10 years now. This stuff has been going on since then, and guess what? 10 years fucking later, it's still happening. It's only been progressed, and it's gotten a lot worse since then. So, what's your other solution to the problem? Well, I guess probably we should probably just become the left. Well, showcasing, oh, hey, we're not racist, we're not sexist, we're not homophobic. Look, we got black people here, we got gay people here, we got trannies working for us, and et cetera, et cetera. Look, we're just as progressive as these lot. It's like, okay, so basically become the left. So, sorry, hold on, let me start again. So basically your whole solution to the problem we're facing just now here in the West is basically, in order to defeat the left, we must become the left. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you actually fucking mental? And these are the same exact people who wonder why people are walking away from the CivNat scene, like myself, and moved over to the ethnonat scene. Because say what you want about ethno-nationalism, at least it has a fucking solution to the problem we're facing today. At least it has a solution to it. Let me see. CivNats are just in the way at this point. Utter cucks. Yeah, I can't stand them. I really can't. Howdy, Boyum. Doskin, it's been a while. Thanks very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Let me see just now. Not many women know how to operate a sewing machine these days. Shame. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a shame, but Let me see. Chief Moody, see my throat. Sorry, I don't know what's been going on with my throat. I've been a lot of coughing as of late. Don't know if I still got a bit of the coof in me, but I don't know. I'm able to taste and smell kind of, but I don't know. But anyway, Chief Moody, the Sargon solution is let them dehumanize us and just write a letter to ask them not to. Pretty please. Yeah, that is Sargon's solution. And again, he wonders why he's no longer as relevant, or even nobody fucking takes him seriously anymore. It's because of shit like that he spews on a daily basis. Like, there'd be times where I might rewatch some of his old debates with Richard Spencer and Andrew Anglin and all of that. And the points he would come up with, especially when it comes to immigration, well, hold on a minute here. You can't exactly get rid of these immigrants because it violates the human rights. It's like, Sargon, they don't fucking belong here. They're not indigenous British people. They're foreigners. They're from other fucking homelands. And even then, if you were to ask them, say like a Pakistani man as an example, if you were to ask them, hey, are you British? They'll take offense to that and say, no, I'm Pakistani. Doskin, what is the topic? Sorry for being late. Sip that's being gay again. Honestly, Doskin, is basically like an overall point I'm making about the reaction, especially fairly recently with what happened to Patriot Front. Which I know, as I said before on the show, I've talked about that group and the reaction of what happened on a previous episode. But again, it was something I wanted to talk about just now. And of course, I also want to bring up Lauren Southern real quick, because I think she's got a lot of fucking nerve, especially making a video and some of the tweets she posted about Patriot Front, especially accusing them, in some ways accusing them of being a Fed group. When, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, and this is something I'll cover much more later on, but when it comes to that point being made, right, isn't she the same fucking person who had talks with people who are basically anti-fascist groups, especially groups like Hope Not Hate? And then years later, when she comes back from her exile or whatever, she then, when this whole thing of Patriot Front happened, she then calls them a Fed group. Fuck you, Lauren Southern. Fuck you. I fucking hate these people. I'm sorry again. I'm sorry, but I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. Let me see. The Race Relations and Minorities Act equal bending the knee. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is at this point. It's bending the knee to the fucking enemy at this point. Many sit-downs are literally gay, dark-skinned. They are. I hate the mind gaming civvies who ask dumb questions, even though they know there is a problem, but they gaslight, twist questions, do a gotcha, etc. Yes, I agree, Exile Viking. I mean, again, just go back and watch those old debates between Sargon and either Richard Spencer or Andrew Anglin, or even what's the name of the fucking gypsy carrier pigeon or the milk-fed gimp? Was it V. Monroe or whatever his name is? The Romanian fuck. He's also quite. I mean, I know people will say, well, at least he comes on the stream, which I mean that's a fair point to make, and that's definitely true. He's just as bad, if not worse, than Sargon. It's this whole fucking. Well, what do you mean by white people? Can you define white for me, please? It's like, mate, you know what a fucking white person is? It's someone of European descent. You'll never ever hear anyone asking the question, well, what do you mean by black? Can you define black for me? Or what do you mean by yellow or Asian? Can you define that for me? Like, as if I'm some kind of fucking dictionary when it comes to that. It's ridiculous. It's hello, Anx. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Sargon gets 10 grand a month in donations for being a cuck gobshite club. Dear. Sargon has to speak for. Yeah, I remember the whole feud between Mr. America and Sargon. Like, I mean, every single fucking time when there's an opportunity for having both Jim and Sargon to be on the show and maybe hash things out, V comes along. He basically is like his little fucking gypsy carrier pigeon. He's like a messenger for Sargon. It's just like, V, can you not be like your own fucking man? I mean, Jesus Christ. Doskin. Lauren Southern left for years because she got seen as too right-wing. I have a suspicion she left because she wanted to figure out how to appeal to the right without accidentally becoming ethnic. Yes, exactly that. Well, that's pretty much the whole. Well, that's one of the reasons why she left for a while, and now she came back, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, guys, I'm kind of on the center now." It's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So let me get this straight. You were kind of on the fence of being an ethno-nationalist. I mean, you made fucking talking points that an ethno-nat would make. I mean, fuck. Didn't she make, like, what was it, 2 documentaries? I think both of them called Borderless and Farmlands, where, wait, again, you watch those documentaries and they bring up some again, exact ethno-nat talking points that an ethno-nat would fucking make. And then, oh no, but because of the fact she became like it got too extreme for her, she then left, and because I guess she was dating a jogger for a boyfriend at one point, and then they dumped, and then she got with someone else. She got knocked up, and then decided to have a shotgun marriage. And then after all that happened, then of course she queefs out her baby, and now of course she's back on the scene. It's like, oh, I'm back, but this time I'm a centrist and all of that. It's so fucking. I actually think another part of that in why she made that decision was, and I don't know if people might agree with me when I say this, but possibly because of the Mark Collett video. Because I remember Mark. I can't remember when this whole thing happened, but this must have been 2018, maybe 2019 at the latest. But I remember Mark talking about that at that point. Well, basically made a whole video about it. And of course, it wasn't just Lauren Southern about that, of course. It was also the 2 gay guys who she was very close with. In fact, I think they even helped her make the documentaries as well. Whose names escape me at the moment. I'm sure someone might mention the names of that. So I do know one of them is colon, or I don't know. Sounds a lot. His name sounds a lot. Well, his first name sounds a lot like colon cancer, but that's beside the point. Anyway, in fact, let me just quickly. Sorry, folks. Let me just quickly get my water bottle and then just have a quick drink. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's something up in my throat. I don't know if it's to do with like coughing or anything like that. There we go. That should be better. Anyway. There was a comment I want to see. Chief, anger suits you. Let it be your guide. Embrace it. Thanks very much, Budgie Burger. Appreciate the comment. Wow, I didn't know she cut that hard. Damn. What? It's a shame, really, because she could have been on that side. Like, she could have been with people on the ethno-nat side as well. But instead, she decided to basically sell her soul. Well, maybe not that. She basically became a fucking sellout and decided to be a centrist because it's much easier. See, there was another point Sargon made in one of his debates, how people would rather be on the civic nationalist side than an ethno-nat side, because he believes that civic nats ideas and all of that are much better than ethno-nat side. And it's like, no, Sargon, it's not because of that, right? It's not because people don't decide to become a civ-nat rather than an ethno-nationalist because it's better ideas. People are a civ-nat and not an ethno-nat. It's because it's easier. It's easier being a civic nationalist than to be an ethno-nationalist. Like, who are you kidding here? Like, honestly, this whole thing, how, like, speaking of familiar faces, there's Joe Marsh. How you doing, Mark Joe? Thanks very much for watching the show. Chief, no, sorry, English flavor. Chief, when you pray, please stop slagging unimportant civ-nat YouTubers and offer some practical solution to rid our nation of joggers. Well, we do have a solution to that, and I definitely would say join groups like Patriot Alternative. People like, or at least groups that actually do have a solution to the problem. Lauren Southern dated a non-white. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she dated a jogger. Yeah. Which is funny because, again, she, was part of that crowd. I think even Gavin McInnes was one of them as well, where they would make all the similar ethno-nat talking points. But, oh, no, I'm not an ethno-nationalist. I support Israel and all of that. It's like, shut up. But, yeah, to answer your question, English Rose, yeah, she dated a jogger. Anyway, XL Viking. I have my opinions about Martin and Brittany Selner, Naomi Shell. I think I know who Naomi is, although I never spoke to her before, but I've seen her videos. In fact, my first appearance, my first discovery of her was actually Brittany Selner herself. But few of Lauren's friends, but here is not the place to divulge them. Yeah, I know. I can see what you mean with that. It's just it's frustrating, these groups of people, especially whenever you have a group like Patriot Front. That again is a type of group that actually wants to do changes and wants to actually do something about the problems we're facing just now. And then of course, you have all of these like untalented shacklehorn fucks who will just come out of the woodwork and just spout all kinds of pompous bullshit all the time. A £10 donation from Roscoe. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much for that. It's just, it really is. I know people would say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't really give them any attention and all of that." Because like you're just only like just fueling the fire or anything like that, or whatever the expression may be. It's just I can't stand it. I really can't stand these people. But anyway, she posted something about her grandparents escaping Europe, got a ton of shit. That's right, resisting the lies. At resisting the lies, Simonson. Okay. Wait, is resisting the lies in the chat? Oh, so yes. Hello, resisting the lies, or DJ. Thanks very much for watching the show. The Johnny Gat videos exposing her are still in BitChute. Simonson is her wee hat family name. Right. I don't know if I might have seen those videos, to be honest. I'm glad you brought that up, resisting the lies, but I'll see if maybe I can give them a watch later on and then see from there. But thank you for pointing that out, and also thanks very much for watching the show. Civic nationalism is a cowardly cop-out. I agree. See, here's the thing with that as well, Indigenous Advocate, and also everyone else in the chat, right? I know I may make my criticisms of like civic nationalism and all of that, but I do think there are some civic nationalists who definitely should become more part of our side, but they don't want to, because obviously, again, as I mentioned before, it's way easier being a civnat than to be an ethno-nationalist. But I think there'll be a time where those people will come. Of course, people like Sargon, Paul, I don't know about Paul Joseph Watson and all of that, Count Dankula, all those types will never come over to the ethno-nat side. They won't. They definitely are standing their ground and staying exactly where they are. So, meanwhile, there'll be other people who will actually see through their bullshit. I may even move over to our side. Well, here's hoping anyway with that. There's definitely hope with that. So, good evening, Hightower 555. Thanks very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Let me see. It's good to let off steam. It is, yeah. People who are oblivious and can't spot them yet. Yes, I agree. Yeah. There's definitely people like that out there just now. And I think it's a good idea for people like ourselves to maybe, hello Rob D, how you doing? People like us should maybe of course not be outright, but point by point and subtly, like maybe talk about like okay, here's the problems we're facing, here's all this and that, and then maybe see what their opinion might be of that. So Kingdom of Finland real quick. Chief Witty, what would be a worse situation? The current invasion, or if it was a bunch of Americans? Would the Americans be able to integrate better? Oh, that's a good question. Hold on a minute. Sorry, Kingdom of Villain. So when it comes to this question, do you mean like the current situation when it comes to the migrant crisis, or in terms of like the current tensions in the Ukraine with Russia, or anything like that at all? Because I would say if it's to do with immigration, when it comes to that, the current invasion, or if it was a bunch of Americans, I think, to be quite honest with you, I think it'd be much better if it would be a bunch of Americans coming in, because I do think they would not only would they integrate a lot better than any other like, non-whites coming into the country, but I do think when it comes to say Americans and of course like us, our indigenous people of Britain, there is a lot of similarities between between Americans and the British people. I mean, of course, not a lot. There are some striking differences, but I think there is a commonality in terms of the two nationalities is to do with, of course, race and, of course, history in terms of white European brotherhood. So I think I wouldn't mind having a bunch of Americans invade because, hey, at least they can actually integrate into the country a lot better than, say, your Abdullah or your Muhammad or anything like that at all. Definitely would agree to that fact. I just want to check on something here real quick, and then I'll get back on track. I read that comment just now. What's that from? Yourself, Anks. Let's see. Okay. That's fine. No worries. Sorry, excuse me. Right. It's good to let off steam. I mentioned that just now. It's all Viking. You write in the chat. Very frustrating indeed. I tried repeatedly over time and time again to reach out to Martin for personal reasons. I was basically ignored. And this despite having met him in Austria and being told to stay in touch. Oh. Didn't know about that about Martin, but well, I mean, it's not that I know him as a person, but I didn't think you would ignore people or anything like that at all. But let's see. Banning bananas will be further down the road when control is achieved. Why ban? why ban? I don't know if you're being like serious or not, but why ban bananas? Is there a reason for that? PA should ban Owen Jones. Yeah, I can see why people would definitely say to that. Fair enough if you start in civic nationalism, as long as you end up in racial nationalism. Well, that's exactly what happened to me when it comes to that. I know this is something that they talked about before. I don't know if it was on my stream or if it was another stream, like Patriotic Weekly Review with Mark and Jason. But you know, I started off as a civic national. Well, even before then, my interest in politics started around about high school when I was more of like a liberal type of person. So I grew up in a time when I think it was more when Barack Obama was the president. I think David Cameron was the prime minister at that point. I think. I don't know if it was someone else, like maybe who was prior to David Cameron. Was it? Oh, what's his name? Part of the Labour Party. Not Tony Blair. The other. A complete fud of a man who was part of Labour, who was a prime minister at one point. It's Gordon something. I can't remember the guy's name. Damn. Again, I'm sure there'll be someone in the chat might correct me on that. But just real quick. But yeah, just long story short, I started off like a liberal type of person, believing that everyone should be treated equally and all of that. You know, equality for all, etc., etc. Then I became a fan of the SNP. Well, was a fan of the SNP, supported Scottish independence. Then around about, say, 2015, 2016, so I think I might have catched a wee bit of like Gamergate stuff, but it was just only bits and pieces of it. The only person I was really following at that time, especially of that stuff that was going on, was Mr. Macker or Jim. And then about 2015 or 2016, maybe late 2014, I started to get into the whole politics scene when it comes to the whole, you know, the SJW stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is all this stuff going on? And that's where I became more of like a civic nationalist. Started watching people like Tommy Robinson, Tommy Five Names, you want to call him, Tommy Shackelstein or whatever, Sargon of Akkad, Count Dracula. Actually, a bit of a trivia with this, because this is a question one of the guys from P. Scotland even asked me. Oh, what was it that got you into content creating in the first place? So what made me, well, I wanted to be a content creator for a while, especially making anti-SJW stuff in the past. But what really got me into content creating in the first place was the case that happened with Count Dankula. Now, I know this was a case that was going on back in 2016. At this point in time, it's probably now like, 6 years ago at this point. It's been talked to death. Everyone, every person, regardless of which sphere they're in, they have definitely talked about this issue time and time again. But that was definitely a bit of a wake-up call for me, and the reason why I wanted to start making content in the first place. Fair enough. If you oh yeah, I read that comment just now. It was a case of, well, if this guy can get arrested for a video like that, then this could happen to anybody, really. So I decided then and there, I decided to be a content creator. Well, I didn't start making videos and all of that. I think with that, I decided to maybe get more in depth with it, more like a talk, like maybe watching more content of that from other people, and then like, of course, like Sargon the Cat, like Paul Joseph Watson, and all of that, etc., etc. Let's see. I'll just read this comment real quick from Tola Soprano. Chief Booty, either way, Silver or FNAT, you get treated as an enemy. What do you class Darren Grimes as? Who's Darren Grimes again? The name's familiar. Hold on one second. And real quick, who is Darren Grimes again? Darren Grimes is a British conservative political commentator and activist, a Liberal Democrat activist before dropping out of university. Then he worked for a number of Brexit campaigns. He set up the website Reasoned in May 2020. That's a good question, because is he... Well, I would judge someone if they're a Sithnat or an Ethnat. If it really depends on the people they're associated with. So with this case with that dude Darren Grimes, if he's associates with himself with Sithnats, then yeah, fuck it, he's a Sithnat. If he associates with people or talks about people like, say, Mark Collette or PA or anything like that at all, then yeah, he'd be an Ethnat. So I think it just depends on who he associates himself with. PJW is a gateway drug for people through was for me. Again, that's a very fair point. I think that's a lot of people as well. I know people will also say like Ben Shapiro was their gateway and all of that. So, but no, like definitely I would say, or even your Tim Pools and all of that. But yeah, they're definitely great gateways into like moving into the ethno-nationalism or even just nationalism entirely. Great stream, Chief. Got to head off. Looking forward to watching this later. No worries, Kieran. Thanks very much for watching this part just now. Appreciate you being here. Just type in Lawrence Southern Johnny Gat on BitChute. He exposed PJW as well for selling out. He used to point to Zionism, but not now. But not now, Chief Committee. All right. You know what? Let me see if I can get this up on my phone, and then once the show ends, I'll give that a watch afterwards. But I appreciate that, Resisting the Lies. Really do appreciate that. Thanks again. Let me just quickly get to BitChute. Well, BitChute I never normally use anyway, but maybe with this video I'll see if I can find it. So BitChute, and then it's Lawrence Southern, Johnny Gat. See from there. Right. Sorry, folks. Just type this in real quick, and I'll get back to that. Johnny Gat. Let's see if it pops up. It should pop up anyway. So, yeah, right. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll click on that. Yeah, I'm starting to recognize it. Maybe I have seen this, but I'll give it a watch later on and see from there. But again, thanks very much for that, DJ. Appreciate that. Let me see. Practice your physiognomy. No, ognomy. Let me have a look at that and see. Right. There was another thing I was going to talk about. Right. How do you just let me see the word again? Yeah, from Joe. Sitna spend half their time trying to prove they are not racist. Yeah, as you mentioned before on the show from time to time. Yeah, that's definitely true. It's, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. Look, see, I got a black friend. Yo, what's up, motherfucker? You know, that sort of thing. But I'm close to this here. One second. Hold on a sec. Right, what's this? Facial features, the art of judging the human character from... that's what it means, right. based on judging someone from their facial features. Oh, I did not know that. Right, that's interesting. Excellent. I read the comment already. Let's see. Who else? Exile Viking. Dankula is good for storytelling. PGW does make funny content, ridiculing the idiots, but they aren't ethno-nat material, only entertainers. Right, there we go. That's definitely a very fair point to make with that. PGW is sound and good for us. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Will P turn HS2 around and point it to France? I don't know. Maybe. Not totally sure. I mean, maybe they might figure something with that, but we'll definitely see. Let me see. Was she not employed by Alex Jones for a while? Is this in terms of Lauren Southern? I don't think she was. See if it's to do with like a blonde lassie, Budgie. I think you're thinking about what's her name? She dated Baked Alaska at one point. Was it Ashton Birdie or something? I think it's Ashton. Well, Ashton Whitty or Ashton Birdie. She was around at the time. Another one of these like female MAGA types. Like ooh, I'm still for MAGA, but I'm gonna flaunt my tits. Like give me money, boys. It's like fuck off. All this kinds of degenerate shit you see from that lot. But yeah, if you're thinking about I don't know if it's Lauren Southern. I know she kind of worked for Sky News Australia, but if you're thinking about a blonde lassie who worked for Infowars briefly, it would have been Ashton Birdie. So 1 for Americans, 2 for non-whites. I'll put in 1 for that, of course. Of course, like why not? Let me see here. Hoover knows Robinson. I had a black friend told me all I need to know about joggers. My friend no more. Well, there we go. I remember watching a BBC detective series called Shetlands a few years ago. It was about a far-right extremist from Norway harassing the Muslim population of the Shetlands. Bloody typical BBC. That does definitely sound like typical BBC, of course. So, I'm not racist. My drug dealer is black. 100% Ethelwoods. Yes, definitely based. Definitely. I try and spend my time trying to prove I'm a racist, but nobody listens. Fair enough. If it doesn't appear, just try search engines. Oh no, I definitely found it resisting the lies. Found the video and I'll give it a watch. Iconoclast was a major guide to me. I think for myself, it was Iconoclast. Maybe some of his videos, it was people like Mark Collette, Millennial Woes was partly to do with that. Who else I would say that kind of? I think maybe also the debates between Sargon and Richard Spencer, even maybe Andrew Anglin. And also, it was actually stuff from like Mike Enoch, because I would see him appear in other streams like Warski Live, and I think JF Gerpy's live stream at the time, The Public Space, I think it was called. And I would just watch those from time to time, and I was watching them and I'm thinking, yeah, like I like them, but I like them, and they do make a lot of great points that actually do make a lot of sense, but I can't exactly, abandon my principles as a Sithna, because obviously, I'm like, yeah, race is real, but I treat people like equally and all of that. But now, of course, I realize that Civic, yes, Gordon Brown. Thank you, Woodlander. Thank you for that. It's definitely Gordon Brown. But it's now got to the point where, yeah, race is definitely real, and I haven't looked back on the sense, and I think ethno nationalism does make a lot more sense than civic nationalism. But anyway, GB News Guy. Can P put all Brownings on rations until they leave peacefully? That is a good question. I'm sure they may figure something out with that. So maybe. I'm not entirely too sure, but maybe. When the time comes, we'll definitely see. But I would imagine they'll give them like rations or anything like that. But I don't know. Maybe. Gordon Brown the nonce, that's the one. So Chief Moody, I was thinking the immigration in regards to Americans or current invasion. In regards to American integration, I could see the right to bear arms being an issue. Yeah, especially how it's definitely like a very tricky subject matter when it comes to bear arms. Well, I know there's people, especially when it comes to America, over here, when people talk about Americans and of course American culture and the Second Amendment, they're like, "Oh, just I think it's really silly that these Americans would carry arms and all of that." And it's like, me, first of all, let me just explain to you how completely fucking stupid you are because of how you don't understand not just the U.S. Constitution but the Second Amendment also. But it's ridiculous. 50 million Irish Americans, 50 million German Americans. Oh, right, excellent. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that too much. Definitely would not mind that too much. Let me see. Other comments coming through. Hey comrades, my daughter is researching our ancestry. She's just told me one ancestor had slaves in the West Indies, circa 1820s. Ah, interesting. That's really interesting, bro. The Shetlands have a Muslim population. Well, Craggy Island, Father Ted had a Chinatown, according to Father Dougal. Yeah, I remember that. I used to watch Colin Flaherty, all the black crime he used to expose. Don't know if I might have seen that before, but I was a conspiracy theorist as a teen, which led to red pill and rabbit holes. Lol. I don't know for me if I was if I was a bit of a conspiracy theorist myself, but I think I kind of like got interested in that kind of stuff a bit later on in my teens. Well, there was a documentary. I don't know if it's still up on YouTube. Of course, I doubt it. Maybe it'll be on BitChute or even it will be on Odyssey. But it was a video series I think it was a 10-part video series called it was called Lucifer Rising. And it talks about all the conspiracies about the Illuminati and, of course, the JFK assassination attempt and how that was all completely part of the overall plan and such and such. And at the time, watching it, of course, I was like an atheist, back then, and I'm watching it, I'm thinking, right, okay, so it does have a lot of religious stuff to it, but it's like, well, hold on, I'm not religious, I'm an atheist, so wait, what's all this about? Then, of course, maybe looking back on it, I do believe in the idea of like the whole like cult, secret societies and all of that, but but I remember when after I've watched those documentaries and known about the Illuminati, or at least the concept of the secret societies, if you will, I started like just kind of getting a little bit like paranoid, where it's just like, well, all this stuff, like, we've been living in a massive lie. Like, what is all this about? And even to the point where every single like house or building or product you see, like TVs and all of that, having like a triangle corner kind of thing, I would look at it and think, oh, Illuminati confirmed and all of that. So, and I was being completely serious about that, by the way. But anyway, £20,000 cash to F off would still be cheaper than a lifetime of benefits and nonsense. Enoch had a plan for it, which was not controversial back in the 1960s, while we could suggest solutions. There we go. Let's see. It's the Triple J. You should beware. Yep. Illuminati turned into the Juminati to the red pilled. From Bill, Chief Moody, it was the advent of the internet that changed everything on a mass scale. In the early years, it was an I'm not going to pronounce this word, sorry. Instantaneous gateway to radical thinking outside of the mainstream. No, I definitely agree, Bill. Definitely agree. I think as you said, ever since the rise of the internet, there's definitely like more info about this coming out. A lot of people are seeing through the BS that's going on just now with that. So, yeah. Let me see here. I learned about Freemasonry age 14 too. Dad got an anti-Masonic book out the library. He was staunch against Freemasonry. I see. I would only offer 5K, still big money, and Bongo land. Oh dear. Ah dear. Right. Right. What was the video I wanted to showcase? It was on Telegram. But before I check Telegram, I'll definitely have a look and see if it's on Odyssey, first of all. It's not the videos that Resisting the Lies would try to showcase. I did find that on my phone. It's something with the Patriot Front. I want to have a look at this real quick and then see if we can move on from there. Patriot Front. And I wonder if that video is... Yeah, for life. Patriot Front March for Life 22 preview. It's like about 3 minutes long, but this was uploaded 3 days ago, right? Let me just showcase this video. I think it's still sharing. That's not sharing. Right, one sec. Get that. Share system audio. Right. Okay. So I've got this up here. Give them pistol. Internet was a game changer. I got a PC in 1999 and straight away searched for British nationalism, then joined BNP. Well, there you go. Excellent stuff. Right, I'll showcase this video, 3 minutes long, and then we'll move on to the next part here. Let's have a look at this. So 3, 2, 1, and play.
Worth noting, Patriot Front may get cold feet and no-show after the very recent identification of their regional director.
You think they can harass us into staying home? No!
Trump family! Trump nation! Trump family! Trump nation!
Look at him shaking.
What's going on your shitty Telegram channel?
Why are you shaking?
Her life is equal to Nazi. Her life for the victory of the American spirit!
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming out. You recognize it? Hell yeah, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'll just pause that real quick. Obviously just for like commentary purposes, but I don't know if maybe this might be the same event that I've seen another video come out, and this was a channel called Memology 101. Again, one of these other channels that were just shitting all over a Patriot Front. In fact, that might be something I'll bring up in just a sec, because I think there's a particular clip that might take place in the same event as this. I don't know if it does, but I'll definitely check that in a second. But anyway, just continue on from there and then move on to that video, or maybe something else. I don't know, but we'll see.
How's it going? Thank you.
Come on this sideline, bro. Do it. Do it.
Wasn't this guy looking for a fight earlier? Let him up. Hey, no, just let him up. Where's the slow push part? Woo! Good shit.
Actually, you know, I just realized something there, by the way. You know how people, like all these Civic types, are like accusing Patriot Front of being a like Fed group with that. Right. Well, here you have some fucking douchebag from Antifa. You know, I'm assuming they're like Antifa or any other of these anti-fascist groups. Here they have toe-to-toe and all of that, and I think they just kicked an anti-fascist guy out of the train. So
Good shit.
Friday afternoon, just push forward the red line train to Shady Road.
They're everywhere. Like, let's get screwed
So yeah, the accusation of Patriot Front being a Fed group completely debunked. There we go. Moving on.
Get the fuck out of America. I'm a conservative. You guys are an embarrassment to conservative.
Can I just say, by the way, just real quick, just what absolute fucking chads these guys really are. And I think it might have been at this march in Chicago. There was a clip on Memology 101's channel. I'll definitely check out just now. But the guy says, I'm a conservative. And I think he spews like some kind of like, oh, you guys, you Patriot Front, like losers, make us look bad and all of that. Clearly our Fed group and all. It's the same exact fucking shit you hear them spewing ever since like the news broke out about Patriot Front. But anyway. Based. Right. Let me just see if I can quickly get back onto here real quick and see if I can find that. Twice you say every group is a Fed trap, etc. are fucking idiots. Oops. That. Let me see. They do the enemy's work for them. Exactly. Which really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, why is it that conservative that conserve nothing at all? Yes, exactly. Right, let me see if I can find this video. And once I find this video from I think it's called Memology, what I would want you all to do is I would like you all to give it a downvote. Okay, right, let's see. Oh, excuse me. Right, let's see if I can find it here. Right, it should be. How long? When was it he last uploaded? Maybe like a few days ago, I think. Right. Or is it? 'Cause I did definitely give it a dislike, but let me see here. Damn it. Don't know if it might be on this list or maybe I can check on the channel itself, but oh no, that's not. Damn it. Right, okay. Should be able to find it here. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, so the title is called "The Feds Are Trying Way Too Hard." Let me see if I can. You know what? Post a link in the chat, and what I want you guys to do is give a dislike for me. And if you want to write a comment down below of why I'm telling this guy why he's completely fucking wrong, then the option is there. So posted his video on the 24th, right? In my opinion, y'all Brits should have kept your guns. Do you agree? I do agree. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to like this idea of guns, you kill people and all that, it's like people kill each other with knives, or even your hands. Like those were the original murder weapons. Like, what makes you think that having a gun is worse than having a knife or anything like that at all? But anyway, wait, what's all this? Fuck off. Right. Well, see, the feds are trying way too hard. Actually, Right, this is what I was trying to look for. It's the clip in particular. Right. So what's it said with the? I won't play like the full video. I'll see if I can play out the clip I'm looking for, but I'll read out the text. Later that night, dozens of U-Hauls arrived to pick up the Patriot Front marchers. And he makes some some stupid point, and that was these masked individuals did absolutely nothing. However, the media still used this march to spread the usual propaganda. Plus, the way the group was coordinated with the local PD was bizarre. January 8th, 2022, the Patriot Front tried to infiltrate and hijack a pro-life march in Chicago. The people from the March of Life didn't allow it, though. Let's just give this a watch real quick.
They're not pro-life. Hijacking a pro-life movement. Who the hell do you guys think you are? No, you're not part of this march. You're not part of this. Yeah, put down your bullhorn. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm the bad guy. Dude, put down the cowboy hat. It's an embarrassment to cowboys. Great.
God, the fucking autism from these like conservative types it's embarrassing. Anyway, their flag slogans and banners are way too on the nose. Yeah, see this part right here, right? This is interesting. I'll see if I can maybe turn down the volume. The flags and slogan, sorry, their flags, slogans, and banners are way too on the nose. What's even that supposed to mean? Is obviously are not civilians due to the way they operate and the resources they have. Like they might as well insert a glowing stick up their arse. So basically, in order for yourself to get yourself or your group out there, if you make yourself look noticeable too much, then you're a fed. This guy is. I was like, sorry. Of course, I gave this video a dislike, and when I watched it for the first time, I remember just thinking, this is the most autistic shit I've ever heard in my life. They're not fat; they're feds, obviously, from dog skin. Yeah, I think even Joe Rogan made a point about that as well. Hold on. Right, so let's have a look at this of the banners here, or yeah, they got just now. So this prick made a point about how it's too on the nose. Right, let's have a look at that, shall we? Strong families make strong nations. That I agree with that. I don't see what exactly is wrong with that. You got two American flags that are meant to be upside down. Now, for some of the American viewers watching just now, correct me if I'm wrong in saying this, but when you have a flag upside down, that's supposed to be a nation in distress. Is that correct? I don't know if that's meant to be like true or not, but usually when you have a flag upside down, that's supposed to symbolize as a country in turmoil or complete distress or anything like that at all. So there's me in his cowboy. Yeah, I need to get myself a cowboy hat at some point. But anyway, and there's other flags. I think the other two here, the other two American flags, I think they're meant to be the old school American flags. I don't know if it's maybe the Southern. No, well, I mean, I don't know about Southern, but again, a very old school American flags. And here you have another American flag, or a slight American flag / Patriot Front flag, where I've seen that symbol before, and of course, a lot of the anti-fascist groups, or of course the ADL or the Southern Poverty Law Center and et cetera, would point this symbol out as like a white nationalist symbol or anything like that. I've seen it before, but I can't exactly remember what type of symbol it is, but I remember seeing it at one point. So Patriot Front are the real deal. Indeed they are. So, but yeah, so making that point here regarding to that, what exactly is wrong with these flags or banners here? I mean, when it comes to groups like Patriot Front, I wouldn't be surprised you would see banners like that. You know, what exactly is wrong with that in this case? But anyway. It's the fascisti. It's on the House of Congress emblem. All right. The left-in vehicles which had their license plates covered up. No, right, okay. Now this part here, this is another like meant to be like a gotcha type of thing where it's like, oh, like, well, if they're not a Fed group, then why are they covering up their license plates? Like, look, okay, first of all, I don't agree with covering up the license plates, right? And second of all, my theory to that is the vehicles that they bring with them are maybe owned by some of the members of Patriot Front. Maybe, I don't know, but that is a strong possibility with that. And of course, they'll do everything they can to try and cover, or maybe not having their, because when you own a car, especially when it comes to a license plate, people can check up and see who the car belongs to, where exactly the cars are occupied, or where the address that they belong to, etc., etc. And that's pretty much it with that. So, yeah, exactly. Let us dox you, Fed. Yeah, well, that's exactly what it ultimately boils down to. Especially the comments they make, where it's like, "Oh, why are you covering your faces?" It's like, well, first of all, yeah, they're out there, and the whole reason they're covering their faces is because they know for a fact what would happen to them if their entire information gets out there, their names and all of that. It's probably going to possibly ruin their lives and maybe even throw them in prison because of that. Civic use face shields one day in March. Well, that's interesting. So they got no right to criticize anyone else for that. So the shields are weird, not a weapon. Our guys hang rifles off their necks. Chief Rudy, that's what an upside down flag means. The nation is in distress. As for the old school US flag, I prefer it because, in my opinion, it looks better. Fair enough. That's no worries with that. Show your face, cowards. Show your resignations so we can ruin you. Exactly, Gamma Savage. Exactly. Flags are split upside down is symbolic of turmoil within the nation. Right, there we go. Perfect. So I like the Confederate flag best. There we go. Moving on from there. Let's see. Still around with that.
Some good work, Tommy. Good job.
You should take off the cowboy hat. You're embarrassing the Cowboys. I did a gotcha. It's like that fucking guy. Oh my god. I agree, Exile Viking. The Scottish flag looks the same regardless, but we are in turmoil right now and need help. Exactly. Rory Herbert in the chat real quick. Chief Booty, I've always liked the East India Company flag, which combines the Union flag with the stripes of the Stars and Stripes. I don't know if I might have seen that before, but I'll have a quick look at that in just a short second, Rory Herbert. Streaky Bacon, no media meant COVID shield as a piss take. Oh, right. Right, fair enough. I see. Oh, dear. Mooney, you are a brave man going out there and not letting them take your cowboy hat from you. Well, yeah, I mean, I do try my best, of course. I do try my best. Upside down flag is an SOS. Right, excellent. Move on from there with that, of course. Right, okay. But guess what? The police was there, but they didn't do a damn thing to stop them. All right, listen here, memology, you fucking mongoloid. Right, let me explain to you how the U.S. First Amendment, how the U.S. Constitution works and how the First Amendment works. As long as they're at this area and they're not committing any violent harm or anything like that at all, as long as they're demonstrating a peaceful protest, then they have every right to be there, and it's part of their freedom of speech. I thought you memeology, I mean, for a while of making fun of SJWs and all of that, I thought you'd be in favor of that. I thought you'd be in favor of freedom and of course, civil liberties and all of that. Oh, but just for some groups of people, not groups like Patriot Front, because they're extremists apparently. They're white nationalists. Ew, they're horrible and they're disgusting. Ew, God, they're disgusting. They just stood there and watched. Interesting. It's like they're a fake group. Shut up. This is some amazing work, FBI. Come on. By the way, I'll show you an image of memeology in a moment here, what he looks like.
Homie, I'm so sorry I doubted you.
Okay, I didn't get the reference, but all right, cool. Yeah, I know the image is small, but that's who he is pretty much. So yes, moving on. Well, we'll see. Let me just get back onto here real quick. Cool. Another bit of let me see. Hold on a second. English rules real quick. Seeing these gentlemen standing together and marching proudly for their nation and people makes me feel safer. I am wrong. Am I wrong in this? No, you're not wrong in English rules. You're definitely on the money when it comes to that. It's definitely good seeing a lot of people who will definitely show solidarity and actually and show their support for their people and their nation, of course. You could do things in the USA which would get you locked up in the UK, but apart from valuable morale building, it doesn't seem to help much change in the system. Fair enough. Let me also just quickly add this to the chat. A bit of an update as well. If you again, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, if you would like to support me financially, you could do so by sending in your donations through my Ko-fi page or directly to my PayPal or even through a super chat if you would like to. Again, please don't feel obligated as if you have to. If you would like to support me financially through those links, which are also in the description as well, then that would be great if you to do that and very generous of you to do so. If you don't want to send in any donations but still want to continue watching my content, again, that's also fine for you to do so with that. The option is there at this point when it comes to that. So anyway, just moving on from there. Wish we could get numbers on the streets. Most I saw in the BNP demo was 25 of us, right? I'm sure we'll see that someday. We'll definitely see that someday. So let me see just now. Moving on from there, I did talk about Lord Southern. I mean, there's really no point of going over that video because, again, it was just completely ridiculous. All we'll see in that fact, and the video in question is if I can give that real quick, and it's to do with like Psyops and all of that. How, of course, like Patriot Front is a complete Psyop. Let me get this up real quick, and then we'll see from there. So,
to make the Soviets think they had little willies compared to the Americans, war truly is.
Well, let me see if I can get to the part here.
Into radios and having it declared a thesis of the message that literally anything, even the absolute dumbest you could possibly imagine that would never work in a million years, may just be.
Let's see, from Baz W, have a drink on me, and sends in £5 of super chat. Thank you very much, Baz. I really appreciate the generosity. Really, thank you very much. I'm trying to see if I can get this part
a
here.
Political operation with millions of dollars of funding behind it. All right, now listen up, guys. Just watch the pen.
Fuck off.
There's been a lot of conversation about.
Right, well, let me see if I can actually get to this part here. So I'll only just...
Hey, everyone.
Fuck off. I'll only just address the opening part of it, and then we'll just move on from there with that. So, oy vey. Right, let me see if I get this part here. And this is the one from Lauren Southern, A Brief History of Psyops. This was uploaded 2 days ago. I actually thought it was yesterday, or maybe it's like 2 days from like Australian time, but I don't know. But anyway, so play us out a little bit. 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone. So there has been a lot of conversation about feds, psyops, and all that fun stuff this week, particularly because this Patriot Front video was just leaked.
Life, liberty, victory.
Life, liberty, victory.
Want to check it out?
Damn,
That's a
son,
good
that
take.
might be a cut.
That's a good take right there.
Sieg fucking high. Let's fucking go. I can say that now that it's over.
I want to have my finger.
I don't care. I don't care if it's real or not. In fact, if it's real, that's even better. That makes it even funnier how incredibly fake this looks. Why?
Wait a minute, where's this coming from? Chiefy fancies Sarah Silverman? Absolutely not. Never, ever in my life would I be attracted to that thing. Ugly Truth, Lauren Southernstein. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Sweden has a literal psyop division in their government. Department of psychological information or something. Let's see, fair enough, right? All right, cool.
Why the hell does this guy here feel the need to say,
Sieg fucking high. Let's fucking go. I can say that now that it's over.
the only feasible reason I could think of needing to say a line like that is if you were deliberately trying to make it look like you didn't realize you were recording and had to clarify to the audience that, oh man, it would be really bad if I forgot to cut this part out of the video because I just got before yelling some cartoonishly incriminating shit. And, you know, the replies to this are just chef's kiss incredible. You've got the Libertarian Party ratioing this guy with the accusation that these are feds, memes galore below, basically everyone just saying there's no way this is legitimate. And don't get me wrong, I 100% understand every single person saying this is fake. However, I personally like to wait for more evidence because it's become a bit of a trend within politics to dismiss anything politically inconvenient for your side of the political spectrum.
Oh, trust me, Lauren, that's exactly what you and your fucking side have been doing ever since that whole article, that whole news story came out of the Patriot Front at the march in Washington. You lot went out of the way of trying your damnedest to make them out as if they were the psyop, they were feds, so you shouldn't really take them seriously. They're making us conservatives look bad, etc., etc. There's also a good point from Dogskin, real quick. You literally cannot convince me Southern and these Sipnats aren't employed as control opposition by the FBI. I'll get to that in just a short minute here, but that's not a clap anymore. Lol. Imagine having to listen to her every day. I know it's just fucking ridiculous. Oh no, the Libertarian Party. Well, I mean, she's basically similar to Count Dankula. Oh, I'm a Libertarian. It's like, no, mate, no. Like, don't. Anyway, continue on from there.
As feds or frauds, when the truth is there are genuinely stupid people on all sides. But the issue we're facing now is that the stupidity has gotten so bizarre and the actual psychological operations so common that the lines between parody, psyop, and reality are irreparably blurred. Is this ludicrous academic journal I'm reading about how obesity doesn't exist, is it really real? Or is it just James Lindsay submitting a fake article to take the piss out of our laughable academia? It's a coin toss half the time. Are these federal agents, weirdos, or Democratic operatives? Well, you know, last time at the Yunkin rally, they were Democratic operatives.
Well, here's a fourth option. Maybe there are like a genuine group of guys. I don't know if there's. I have no idea if there's any female members of Patriot Front, but I would imagine they are genuine in what they stand for. And that whole clip that, of course, Lauren played and everyone else talked about online, I am led to the assumption that maybe, again, I could be wrong in saying this, but maybe they had infiltrators in Patriot Front, and that's how that clip ended up getting uploaded onto the internet. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, if I'll just continue on from there, and then I'll make my final
So
comment here.
I don't think it's so crazy that people are skeptical these days. Obviously, wait for the facts before making any definitive conclusions. But damn, if there was ever a time in history to have a good level of skepticism.
Yeah, good point, Jacob. Good point. This coming, in fact, it was actually a point I was about to make, but you pretty much beat me to it. This coming from the woman who was aware that her same-sex attracted employees were working with Hope Not Hate. Exactly. And yet she's going to come on and make this video talking about psyops and how like people are all skeptical and you shouldn't really fully trust these groups of people or anything like that at all. And yeah, that whole thing happened with Hope Not Hate.
Actually, you know what? It's every time in history, including now. And to highlight this, I thought it would be fun to distract for a moment away from our own political turmoil and take a brief stroll through history's hilarious psyops we now have knowledge of today. So jump into the magic school bus to an era where the US intelligence operatives were designing gay bombs to make their enemies too horny to fight them, manufacturing acoustic kittens, and gaslighting communists into believing vampires were after them. But first, let's say a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Noble Gold.
No thanks. So if you want to watch the rest of the video for yourselves, I'll post a link in the chat just now and you can have a look at it for yourselves if you want to. But long story short, don't take what fucking Lauren Southern or Sargon or any one of these people have to say, because at the end of the day, these people, I do believe that are actually feds themselves. I mean, again, Jacob in the chat even pointed out, like, she was fully aware of what was going on between those two gay boys and with Hope Not Hate. She knew for a moment of what was going on and never even said a single thing about it, never called it out, never attempted to stop it and say, hey, maybe you really shouldn't do that, but nah. Instead, she leaves for a while and then she comes back and now she's all, oh, I'm a centrist and all of that. I like to hear both sides of the argument, you know, blah, blah, blah. And oh, here, I got a sponsorship from Gold because I like shelling my shit. Fuck off. Absolutely, just fuck right off. Morgoth done a superb video on this grifter gang of twats a few years ago. I'll see if I can definitely check that out at some point. Let me see here. Jewish girl showing Gold, fucking laugh my ass off. A nationalist party needs discipline before it needs numbers. That and the code of conduct and a dress code. Hence, PA is growing. Call it has the winning formula. Indeed, he does. Indigenous advocate. Indeed, he does. Let me see here. Remember back 100 years ago when Spencer raised his glass to hail Trump, followed by Romans in the audience? I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. She has a point that everybody loves gaslighting now. Right then, right. Let me see. Mark Collett is far and away the best leader for nationalism. I can definitely see that. I can agree. I would definitely agree to that. Does she even believe half of what she's saying? Stick a Canadian flag hockey puck in her mouth and to shut her up. Well, from what I know of her, she's living in Australia now, so I don't know if that could possibly happen. But anyway, ban kosher and she'll go away. Oh, God. I don't know why you're giving this dumb bitch airtime. Well, it's another point similar to that was brought up earlier on by English Sailor. I think it's just really a case of just exposing them for the fraudsters that they are. I can understand that, oh, you shouldn't really give them airtime because you're only just giving them more attention and all of that. But for me, it's just like, well, I'm the type of person when it comes to these Sith-Nats, it's just basically just exposing them for what a bunch of fucking frauds these people really are and how they don't really give a shit about anything other than their own fucking paycheck. That's really what boils down to at the end of the day. Streaky Bacon, the best since Oswald Mosley. I've saw a lot come and go, believe me. For a point. Right then. Let me see. So just about 7:45, just approaching towards the end of the show. Hope everyone has enjoyed tonight's episode. It might not be like a very organized episode. I mainly only talked about one topic, which is really all to do with civic nationalism to begin with. But I hope everyone has enjoyed tonight's episode, and I'll definitely be back this Sunday with Joe from PA Wales again for the fourth time in a row. So, before we leave tonight, is there anyone in this chat right now who would like to ask me any particular, well, not particular, but any question at all? It could be anything you would like to ask me with that. It could be a paid question or unpaid question, and if it's a paid question, you can send that through Super Chat or even Ko-fi or even PayPal if you want to. So, or if it's an unpaid question, again, feel free to ask that in the chat just now. Billion Sith Naz is always fun. She is best friends with Tommy, comment up, Tommy Robinson, Ezra Levant, and Rebel Media. Not sure if she still is, but she was a few years ago. Yeah, she was a friend or pally with them like a few years back, but I'm sure maybe things happened, especially with that whole thing. Especially that whole thing with Hope Not Hate and the two guys. Of course, making that point with that, of course, but let me see just now. Get Graham Campbell on. Who's Graham Campbell? The name rings a bell. Hold on. Just type that in real quick and I'll see from there. I see there's a couple of questions pop up in the chat. Just 1 second just now. Let me see. Graham Campbell. Councillor Graham Campbell, Glasgow City Council. Let me have a look at this. Oh, that dude. Party, the Scottish National Party. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. You know, I'll see. Maybe I'll see what I can do with that. I'll see what I can do. Chief Moody, would it be possible for PA to have a female leader? Well, I do know that Laura is the deputy leader of PA, but in terms of in the future, if Mark were to step down as leader or anything like that at all, then I don't know, maybe. PA does have a female leader, Laura. Well, yeah, but I think she's technically like the deputy leader, but I'm sure maybe Laura would take Mark's place if that were to happen someday or anyone at all. But to answer the question, I don't see what's wrong with that. You know, if they would like to be the leader, or if a woman would like to be a leader of PA, then great. And if not, maybe have another guy as a leader. Again, also great. I think it just depends on who would be qualified for the role, that type of thing. But anyway, Graham is the SNP Bane. Yeah. From Bill Athling. Oh, I skipped a comment. Sorry, just one real quick. Chief Moody, see you at the next conference? Yes, you will. You'll see me at the next conference. I shall see you there, of course. Chief Moody, what do you think will happen in the aftermath of America's collapse? That's a good question. Well, not only would I think that would be the end of the American empire, but I think, I don't know. I think it would definitely be the fall of Western civilization with that. Now, that may be quite an exaggeration when it comes to that, but I definitely do strongly believe that we're going to see something like that at some point. If, of course, the trends don't change the way they are. But Chief Rudy, are you an expert hang glider? I am not. I am not, unfortunately. I am not, so... good point. Remember, Southern got busted with her gay friends misappropriation of funds. I think there was another point Mark made in his stream or video, but yes, I do remember that, Vox. I do remember that. What do you think about groups like For Britain? For Britain. That's to do with Anne-Marie Waters, isn't it? Again, same thing what I've said about civic nationalists today. I think they're just a bunch of LARPing douchebags. They're basically just gatekeepers who are stopping us from actually getting our ideas exposed to the wider public. I think that's what I would say about those groups. No respect for Britain or anything like that. In fact, I think Anne-Marie Waters made a video about Patriotic Alternative, and of course Mark Collett. If you support racist ideas and you think only Britain should be a white ethno state and all of that, then feel free to support Patriotic Alternative. And it's like, okay, like I'd rather join PA than join For Britain, but that's of course that's partly to do with that. So, Ian Moore, PA does have a female leader from we mentioned before with that. Garlic Gorilla, if Medusa had bigger boobs, would less men have been turned to stone? Maybe. I would imagine so with that, but who are the people to know when it comes to the situation in Britain? All I know is Boris Johnson, and to me, he looks like British Trump on crack. Yeah, good point. Good point. I would say you should definitely pay attention to people on our side most of the time. So we definitely have all the answers to give. Well, I wouldn't say all the answers to give, but I definitely think we have a lot of sound points to make without any topic discussed. Doskin, who are the people to? Oh, I read that already. Was you sending me? Oh, sorry, made in Cornwall, Cornell. Was you sitting behind me at the conference? I was sitting behind Laura. No, at the previous conference I was sitting at the right hand side. I was sitting next to the members of PA Scotland, of course, and I think it was the right hand side. It might have been the fourth or fifth row. I was sitting on the right hand side of the conference. As soon as you walk in, you see the on the right hand side. I would have been there. So no, I wasn't on the left hand side with that, because I know Laura, Sam, and Mark and all of that were sitting on the left hand side. But Chief Rudy, favorite still game character? I would say Winston. Winston Ingram is my favorite, because he's like the underdog type of character. Like he goes through a lot, and you really want him to succeed at the end. So yeah, I'd say he's my favorite. Just been reminded of Squat and Slab after mentioning Laura's Fruits and Hope Not Hate. There we are. Let me see. Squat and Slab. I think I remember Squat and Slab. Shh, don't mention the conference. I won't. Does anyone else remember Squat and Slab? I mentioned that already, yeah. I do remember Squat and Slab. That was, yes, it definitely was a long time ago with that. Whoops meant Squat and Slab. Norai Chief. Chief, big break, catchphrase, or strike it lucky. Let's see this one here. Big break, catchphrase, or strike it lucky. I'm not entirely too sure what the reference would be with this bit, Rob D. I'm sorry. Is this maybe like a question for a game show, or like in terms of my overall content? I'm not entirely too sure. Sorry, I'm a bit kind of confused with that, Rob. If you wouldn't mind, maybe clearing up for me, if you don't mind with that. What do you mean by that? So sorry. Chief Rudy, could there be any positive outcomes from a Ukraine-Russia conflict? Yes, because the tensions of that have been really high. I know that a lot of the mainstream press have been talking about this, like, oh, this could be like a really bad thing, maybe World War III and all of that. But I mean, if it were to have, if there was any conflict whatsoever, because I know there's been a lot of talks about like Joe Biden and all of that talks about, well, we're going to have this to go right into it if Russia doesn't pull back. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. I may be wrong on that, but I really don't think there's going to be any major conflict whatsoever. I think there's going to be some form of agreement between the two nations, and maybe they'll definitely work something out with that. But again, it's only a case of we'll just need to wait and see. But in terms of positive outcomes, maybe they'll work a deal between Ukraine and Russia, but we'll definitely see with that. So we'll need to wait and see with that. For Cox. Yeah, so Yes, Anne Marie is a lefty who hates Muslims. Exactly, exactly. More like for gays. Dear. Anne Marie vodkas. As Britain is an ally to the US, do you see the situation in Ukraine as a potential threat to the diplomatic coherence? I mean, it just really depends on what happens, really. I don't think there's going to be any type of conflicts whatsoever. I think it's all just major talk from the US and all of that, but I really don't know. I think it just depends on the situation with that. I think it's a case of let's wait and see what happens with that. So, Lauren made an appearance in Airdrie for Dank's court appearance. Tommy was there to confronting a BBC journalist that was verbally attacking. Attacking Dank. I do remember seeing clips of that. I do remember watching that at the time when the whole court hearings was going on. Squat and Slav did a stream with Jason, aka No White Gill, almost about a year ago. He's been living for far away in most major cities and towns. I see. Excellent. Chief Woody hang gliding can be embarrassing whilst wearing his kilt. Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, especially with that. If you want to see another B&W minstrel show, support PA. Right, there we go. Squat and Slav first exposed Tommy Robinson. He is superb. Everybody knows the conference was cancelled. Chief Woody, oh, of course, yes. Yes, this year's conference has been, of course, cancelled, of course, yeah. Which is a shame, really, but maybe, I'm sure Mark and Laura or anyone from PA will sort something out in the near future, but we'll see. We'll definitely see with that, so. Oh, accident said Squat and Slav instead of Slav. I hate correct. No worries, that's fine. That's why I corrected myself, Chief. Again, there's no worries for that whatsoever. Cry out while they strike it lucky. Ah, right, okay. Let me see. W. Amory Waters, Bitter Lemon. Right, excellent. Okay, so just approaching 8 o'clock just now. I think what I'll do, folks, is I will have the show come to an end. I know I may have only talked about one topic at the time, so Ukraine and Zionist occupied. Well, there we go. There we are. So I'll just end the episode there just now. Like I said, I know there's only one topic to talk about, which is an overall topic, but hopefully everyone did enjoy tonight's episode, and I'll be back this Sunday on the 30th with Joe as my recurring guest for the 4th time. And then we'll see from there with that. And even, of course, I'll see if I can get someone else on as well for a future stream. We'll definitely see with that. So thank you for a great stream, as always. This is from English Rose. Good night, Mr. Moody, and all in the chat. Please take care. Same to yourself, English Rose. You take care and stay safe, right? Thank you again for watching the stream. And thanks to Stream 14. No worries, Baz. Thank you very much for watching. Right, I'll see if I can find an outro song to play us out with. See. Thank you, Chief. No worries, Aunt Sally. Thanks very much for watching. See if I can find who was it that Jody played on her stream. Hold on one sec. Was it this one here? Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay. I haven't played one of her songs in a while, so I'll see if I can play this to play us out with. So anyway, troops, thank you all very much for watching. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast. This is Chief Moody signing out, and I will see you all on Sunday at 5 p.m. GMT, which will be also 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please be there, as myself and Joe will be on the show, and we cannot wait for you all to show up then. So again, thanks very much again. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And of course, enjoy the weekend coming up. Take care and stay safe. Thank you.
ships on the horizon, a reckoning. I choose not to despair. The miles ahead are fewer than the battles lost. By giving all the gifts I have, I float to the ceiling. I sink into healing. And I'm one with my fathers and their fathers and their mothers and their daughters. They're all watching. I won't falter. I won't falter. Enemies from the unseen. I am walking on cloud 14. And I'm one with my fathers and their fathers and their mothers and their daughters. They're all watching. I won't falter. I won't falter. I'll float to the ceiling. I sink into healing. And I'm one with my fathers and their fathers and their mothers and their daughters. They're all watching. I won't falter. I won't falter.